Ladies and gentlemen, Carla Williams.
Thank you. I am extremely grateful. First, I want to thank the good Lord for giving me this very special opportunity. I want to thank President Sullivan, President-elect Jim Ryan, Rector Rusty Connor, Vice Rector Jim Murray, each member of the search committee, and the Board of Visitors for entrusting me with this awesome responsibility. I have to thank a lot of people, so please bear with me. My parents have both passed, but I do want to acknowledge and thank them for giving me the most important thing a parent can give a child, and that is knowing that you are loved. I did not have great material things as a child, but my brother and I felt like we were richly blessed because our parents loved us. Thank you to my family members, many family members, and family friends, teachers, and coaches in LaGrange, Georgia. All total, I spent 25 formative years in Athens, Georgia. My family and I became a part of the community, as we will in Charlottesville. I want to thank my friends in Athens, in particular, Reverend Winfred Hope and Ebenezer Baptist Church West. To UGA President Jerry Moorhead, thank you for your many years as a mentor and as a champion for me. Thank you to Greg McGarity and my colleagues at the University of Georgia for their support and encouragement through many years. I also want to give a special thank you to Glada Horvat in Athens, Georgia. She was my academic counselor when I arrived on campus as a 17-year-old freshman, and we are colleagues to this day, 32 years later. I've had the opportunity throughout my career to work with some tremendous coaches. To the coaches at the University of Georgia, thank you for your professionalism. Thank you for your commitment to excellence in your sport and in the classroom. To the student athletes at Georgia, I love you. I know you will continue to do great things, and you will always have a special place in my heart. If we are fortunate enough in life, there will be people along the way who will tell us what we need to hear and not necessarily what we want to hear. Individuals who will push us out of our comfort zone because they see something in us that we may not see in ourselves. Someone who refuses to allow us to settle for average. Consider yourself blessed if you have at least one person who sees it as their purpose to push you toward your potential, to push you towards excellence. One of those people for me is my college coach, Andy Landers. Thank you, Coach. I want to thank my family who is here with me today, my husband, Brian, our daughter, Carmen, who is a fourth year at Georgia, our daughter, Cameron, who is a first year at Georgia, and our son, Joshua, who's in the 8th grade. Wait. This moment is for you too. Today is proof positive that dreams do come true. May you never doubt the power of faith, hard work, and an education. The Callaway Foundation in my hometown built a recreation center, and I grew up playing sports. I played football and basketball with and against boys. From a very early age, I learned some very valuable lessons. I learned no one has to feel sorry for you, so do not feel sorry for yourself. Whether you fall down or get knocked down, get up, try again, fight on. I learned how to compete against people who are seemingly bigger, stronger, and faster than me. Don't be intimidated. Always be prepared. I learned humility is strength. Humility reminds me that it is about the team, and it takes a team working as one unit to achieve greatness. As UVA's athletics director, you can expect to see those characteristics in me on a daily basis. Also, please know we will experience success because we will never lose sight of some very basic core values within intercollegiate athletics: academic achievement, athletic excellence, integrity, maximum effort, and team, togetherness, unity. This is a world-class university with elite athletic programs. UVA has tremendous coaches and very talented student athletes. From my vantage point in Athens, Georgia, UVA is a high-achieving athletic program, and all high-achieving athletic programs can improve. My goal is to enhance the strengths, to identify and address potential shortcomings so that our student athletes can continue to have incredible experiences, receive a remarkable education, and compete for conference and national championships. Lastly, I do understand and appreciate the historic nature of me being named athletics director at the University of Virginia. I have served as a role model throughout my career, as a student athlete, as a coach, and as an administrator. I take great pleasure in serving others. I will continue to be a role model to help others reach their goals. For anyone who aspires to be in this position, it does not matter if you are black or white, male or female. If you aspire to be in this role one day, the most important thing you need to know is I am the athletics director at the University of Virginia because I have always done more than what was expected of me. I have pushed myself to earn advanced degrees. I made it a point to get experience in every area of intercollegiate athletics. I believe no job or responsibility within athletics is too small, and no one person is too big. I have played, coached, and managed at the highest levels of the NCAA, and yes, I am an African American female. I see that every morning when I wake up and look in the mirror. Dreams do not know categories. Dreams do not know genders or colors. I am living proof that anything is possible if you have the nerve and the imagination to believe it can happen. To prospective students and prospective student athletes in every sport, throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia and across the country, if you are looking for a place to make big dreams a reality, if you are looking for a place to achieve goals that seem unimaginable, if you are looking for a place to defy the odds, I found that place. Come join us at UVA. Go Hoos. Thank you.
This athletic department has performed at a high level for many years now, not only in the ACC, but nationally. As you look to build on that success, what do you see as the major challenge or challenges facing the department?
You know, I want to also commend Craig Littlepage. I have watched Virginia and watched Craig from afar with great admiration. And you know, I have to pinch myself to sometimes to realize that I'll be standing in your shoes at the University of Virginia. So thank you for all of your counsel and support for me. You know, college athletics is a challenging enterprise. And the way that Virginia wants to do it is the way that I am built to do it. And we'll continue to focus on academic achievement. We'll do it with integrity. We'll give maximum effort, and we're going to come together as a team, not just within our different sports teams, but within the athletic department and within the Charlottesville community. And I'm anxious to get started. I got here 2 days ago, and so there's a lot for me to learn. I do consider myself a lifelong learner, and I'm looking forward to getting here and finding out more from the coaches, from the student athletes, and from all of our stakeholders, so we can begin to put together a program that all of you can be proud of, continue to be proud of.
Carla, David Teal with the Daily Press in Newport News. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Coach Landers in your opening.
Yeah.
In 1996, you guys had been to consecutive Final Fours, and you were an assistant on that staff. What at that point led you to transition from coaching into the administrative path?
I will say that Coach Landers sent me a text right before this press conference, and he figured out how to turn on his computer, and he's watching. Love you, Coach. I knew when I went into coaching that I did not want to be a head coach. I went into coaching to become a better administrator. And so I coached for 5 years and had great success. We played in 2 Final Fours. We played for the national championship. And our daughter Carmen was born. And I realized it was time to go ahead and make that move to administration. It was perfect timing. I stayed 1 extra year in coaching because I felt like we could win a national championship. We came very close, played for it and lost. But I felt like in '96 that was a perfect time for me to move into administration to get started with that part of my career.
Hi, Carla. Jerry Ratcliffe, the Daily Progress here in Charlottesville. Welcome.
Thank you.
I was intrigued talking to Bronco earlier today, and he mentioned that you had recommended he talk to Mark Richt at Miami about how you handled that situation at Georgia. What did you hope he would learn from that conversation, and can you address just the challenge of handling that situation when you were at Georgia?
Yeah. So first, let me say that I was able to meet with some coaches one-on-one and some coaches within a group, and I think that you've got some phenomenal people here at Virginia, and I'm looking forward to working with them, and Bronco is definitely one of those folks. I encourage the coaches to talk to their counterparts at Vanderbilt and at Georgia. I think it's important for coaches to talk to their colleagues to try to understand who their AD is going to be. And so, as far as Georgia is concerned, Coach Richt, I have to give him a lot of credit because he requested that I be his supervisor years ago. And that was a game changer in my career. And so I'm always indebted to him for that request. And then Kirby Smart, I've known Kirby since he was a student athlete at Georgia. And his wife was a women's basketball player at Georgia under Coach Landers as well. And he's going to do a phenomenal job at Georgia. And so Coach Richt is doing a great job at Miami, and Kirby Smart's doing a great job at Georgia, and that's all you can ask for.
Carla, Mike Barber from the Richmond Times-Dispatch, congratulations.
Thank you.
You referenced when David asked you about going to coaching because you saw yourself maybe in this role. Obviously, it's a historical hire. At the time that you were thinking that, what made you think that this would be possible back then?
Well, I kind of addressed that a little bit in my remarks. I grew up not thinking there were limitations. And so when I was able to earn a scholarship to Georgia as a women's basketball player, it was a great team, and it was loaded with talent. There was a player on that team that went on to be a 5-time Olympian, a player on that team that went on to be a 3-time Olympian. And Coach Landers, when he was recruiting me, told my parents that I wouldn't play my first year, I wouldn't play my second year. If I worked really hard, I might play as a junior and senior. And I ended up being a 3-year starter. And so, for me, I see a lot of things as challenges, and where someone may see it as an obstacle or a wall that you can't get over, I just simply use it as a challenge to make it happen.
Carla, Hank Kurz with AP. Welcome to Charlottesville.
Thank you.
It sounds like every step of the way has been really calculated for you, and big dreams. So, is this the top of the steps for you, or are you going to run the NCAA someday?
My approach as a player, as an assistant coach, as an assistant AD, associate AD, and all along the way, has always been to be the very best in that job. And when I was an assistant coach, I wanted to be the best assistant coach in the country. As an associate athletic director, I wanted to be the best associate athletic director in the country. And so that has been my approach. I've tried very hard not to look too far down the road because I didn't want to lose sight of the present. And so, yes, in the back of my mind, I knew what it would take to be fully prepared for a role like this. And that was in my mind, but I also wanted to make sure I did a great job at the job that I had.
What do you think is the biggest barrier to establishing a better football culture here?
You know, I had a chance to spend a little bit of time with Bronco, and of course we got to spend a lot more time together to get this going, but I think you have the right person. I mean, you know, from the outside looking in, you've got a high character person, great integrity, very successful history. If you know, 5-1 if you take that game away on Saturday, and I know you can't take the game away on Saturday. But I talked with him, and I stopped him in the middle of a sentence, and I just said, "Can I shake your hand?" Because I believe the way that he is trying to do it is the right way. He is building a foundation, and that's not easy. It may look relatively easy from the outside, but it's quite difficult. But I trust that he is doing it the way that it needs to be done. And you know, once we begin to build that relationship and he understands my strengths and I understand what his challenges are, I'll be able to draw on my experiences from Florida State, from Vanderbilt, from Georgia, to help him be successful. That's my goal. I want to do everything I can do to help him be successful.
Hi, Caroline Darney with SB Nation, Streaking the Lawn. Welcome to Charlottesville. You said you've been here 2 days. You were a part of the community in Athens, Georgia. What is your plan, early steps, when it comes to joining the culture and the community in Charlottesville and really taking a crash course in what it means to be a Cavalier or a Wyo?
Okay. Well, I've already had Bodos. My entire family had it, and it was awesome. You know, we are, as a family, people. You know, we love people. My husband and my son don't like to talk a whole lot, but my daughters and I love to talk. But you know, we are a people-oriented family, and I think it comes natural for us. So we'll get here and we'll start to meet people. We'll just get out and we'll start to meet people. It'll be easy. It won't take long for us to become a part of the community.
You mentioned the schools there and that you've been at, and you have connections with the ACC and the SEC. So first is, which is a better football conference?
I haven't been here long enough to give you a true, meaningful answer.
That's a good answer. The second one might be hard too, because you've only been here a few days, but you are taking over a department that's been very successful kind of across the board. What's the unique challenge in kind of keeping that going as opposed to maybe taking over some place where it needs to be rebuilt?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great program. That's what's so attractive about it. And I've had opportunities before, and I've been very, very selective because I had a great job at the University of Georgia. And I feel like with every great program, with every high-achieving program, you can get better. You may not be able to tell it from the outside, but those of us internally know how we can get better, how we should get better. So I've got to get in here and start to figure out what some potential shortcomings are and figure out how I can help us in those areas. I want to enhance what we're already good at and look for any weaknesses and try to make them better to raise the level of the entire department.
Carla, where does your drive, your fire come from? Does it come from those playgrounds playing football against guys, or your parents, or for somewhere else?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all of that. The way that I grew up, the way that I was raised, the opportunities that I had at the University of Georgia, my journey from Athens to Tallahassee to Nashville, back to Athens, my family. I've got a great family, and thank goodness they all love sports because I've taken them all around the country. Carmen was born in Athens, Cameron was born in Tallahassee, and Joshua was born in Nashville. And so I think it's a combination of all of the people I've met, a lot of coaches through the years. I had a great high school coach. We were very successful. I had a great college coach who taught me a lot on and off the court. I've worked with some great administrators. I've got great mentors. So I think it's a combination of all of that.
Two questions. You mentioned you played football. What position?
Quarterback and wide receiver.
Not bad, not bad. I played quarterback too, but
Okay.
it's just street games and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Me too, just street games.
You mentioned you've had previous opportunities. What made this time and this school the right time for you to make that move?
Yeah. I knew the quality of the university here at Virginia. So I think an elite, world-class university that has proven that you can win championships. There aren't many of those, and I recognized that a long time ago. And that's something that's always been very important to me because winning championships and getting a great education, those things aren't mutually exclusive. You can do both. You should do both. And so this is one of those places in the country where the foundation is there, thanks to Craig and his staff. The foundation is there, and I believe I can build upon that.